right. I am now live, I believe. Live on TikTok. All right. All right. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Oops. What did I do? Nope. All right. All right. I am live. I am live. I am live. And I am going to just... Oh boy. All right, so one of the things that have been happening is people have been trying to invite me to co-host. Just random people been trying to invite me to co-host. Hello, Mom. Hi, Mom. How you doing today? All right, so thank you, Mom, for coming to my live. This is my 10/10 live, and I'm hoping I have this idea in my head that I will be doing as many lives as I can between now and the end of 2025, just to practice and to get used to it, because this is something that I'm going to expand into doing in the new year. If everything goes according to hope, you know, that I will be alive and well and still here, and the new year, you know, ready to just get the new year going, trying new things and expanding my reach, expanding, you know, whatever it is that I'm creating. So thank you for anybody who is popping in. Thank you for anybody who's popping in. I don't usually do a lot of TikTok lives. I've done some, you know, I've done some just spur the moment and random, and, you know, just for the practice, just for the, hey, Mom, thanks for the rose, Mom. Just for the practice, just for, like, you know, trying something new, trying something new. So, but now I really want to, like, kind of take it seriously. I want to take my building of some kind of platform, the platform that I'm building and whatever I'm creating, I want to take that seriously, and I want to create something and expand on what I've already created, what I've already done in 2025. So the whole theme of this morning's live is I wanted to talk about being an INFJ. For anybody who might be curious about that, I wanted to talk about what it's like to be an INFJ, how the INFJ brain, and how we love. That's what I wanted to talk about. And if you are wondering, okay, so what's so special about that? Why do I feel like I have to talk about that? Why do I feel I need to talk about that? Is because the INFJ is the rarest personality type. And if you don't believe me, ask the internet. Like anytime that you're asked, anytime you hear anything about INFJ, you're gonna hear it's the rarest personality type. It's about 1% or 2% of the population. I think it's 1 or 2% of the population. And I happen to be one of that small percentage of people. And how I know that I am a part of that 1% or 2% of personality type is because anytime that I've ever heard anything about an INFJ, it 100% resonates. It 100% feels like it, you know, they're talking to me and talking about me. And before I had come across the you know, knowledge of an INFJ, I just felt lonely and misunderstood, and like I didn't belong here, and like, what the fuck am I doing here, and why am I on this planet, and like, you know, I gotta go. I can't make it here. I can't live here. I can't live here with these people. I'm so misunderstood. Encourage your viewers to share. Oh, feel free to share my live and, help me out. Share my live and tap the screen and like it and send, send the little gifts. All that stuff, like engage with the live. If you're accustomed to engaging with the live, engage with the live like how you would engage with any other live. I don't do this regularly, and I don't know how all this stuff works as yet, but I can get my feet wet, and then I'm gonna get it. But as I was saying, this conversation is about the INFJ. For anybody that's curious, I'm going to give you a first-hand perspective of what it's like to think like an INFJ and to love like an INFJ and to be like an INFJ and to be like an INFJ in this timeline. In this swipe. Okay, TikTok. In this timeline, where is the rise, a huge rise of revelation, darkness, corruption, like all this stuff existed. It's just like it just, coming from under the rocks and coming out of the underworld. All the creatures are coming out of the underworld and revealing themselves into the public sphere. So it's like this rise of everything that is dark, the darkest, shadow side of humanity, all in your face all the time, constantly, and it's the loudest thing. So one of the things that happens to me when I happen to do these kind of videos is that I get tickly nose. I don't know what is that about, but it happens to me regularly. So anyway, it could be also the stupid sweater that I'm wearing with all the fur that's on the sweater. So anyway, what it's like to be an INFJ at a time such as this. You got to understand how the INFJ brain works and how we love, right? My mom laughing at me, and how we love, and then you would understand what I'm talking about. So for anybody who does not know what an INFJ is, an INFJ is a part of the myers-briggs personality type indicator, right? And it's one of the 16 personalities, and it's the rarest of all. It's one of the rarest ones, right? And the INFJ is known as the advocate or the counselor or the idealist. And I always used to call myself an idealist. This is before I even knew about being an INFJ. And before I realized that I was an INFJ, I used to call myself an idealist. And so it's the kind of person who cares about people, like really deeply care. And I also call myself an INFJ empath. So I'm not just an INFJ, I'm an empathic INFJ. I don't even know if there's any that are non-empathic INFJs, but I call myself an INFJ empath. And an empath is somebody who like, our empathy is on another level. We feel deeply for people. We feel what other people feel, and it's a whole deeper level of empathy, right? Like we feel people's energy. We feel people, right? So when we go places, if the energy is intense, we like that intense energy could practically kill us, right? If the energy is joyful, then we feel that joy. We feel it on like a higher level, like everything is heightened, that feeling. So it's not going to be an easy thing to be an empath, to be an INFJ empath in a time such as this. So I have had to, throughout the course of the year, I feel a little like that. Yeah, right. So I've had to, throughout the course of the year, create or continually work on tools to protect myself, right? Because if I don't protect myself, then, I'm going to be no good to anybody. And in my full INFJ capabilities, I can be very helpful at a time such as this, because I have an emotional intelligence, as my sister would call it, an emotional intelligence and a deeper understanding that, people typically don't have, right? or they're not in tune with in the way that I am very quickly and very easily in tune with. Like I could pick up on things very, very quickly. It's very hard. If an INFJ is tuned into your frequency, it is very hard for you to like kind of like fool us in the way that you feel. You can't cover it up by just saying things. You can't just say it. I mean, we're gonna let you say what you say, and we're gonna try our best not to make you feel uncomfortable with what we know and what we understand and what we see. We're gonna try very hard. We're gonna try our best, because we don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But you're not going to be easily able to say you're one thing and you're actually something else, because we are going to be able to see right through you. And obviously, to have that superpower in this time where we are in this like gaslighting, manipulation, like this darkness that is trying to manufacture fear and manufacture get people to do what they want them to do, like to manufacture situations in order to control people. That is a superpower that is a threat. Now, if I was stronger, more established in myself, INFJ, I would be a bigger threat. But the thing is for me is that during this time, I am basically like the person who is now learning how to use their abilities. Not like a baby, not like somebody that no learning, but I'm kind of still in the middle of training to be the strongest, greatest version of myself, the greatest version of an INFJ. So at the moment, where the clouds have already formed and the darkness has already like swallowed up a good chunk of or suck up a good chunk of the energy, absorbed a good chunk of the energy, I am not a threat. I'm not as yet, right? So what I've been doing in 2025 is I have been mainly focusing on keeping my vibration high, focusing on my health, my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit, my emotions, and developing my strengths, focusing on my strengths and developing my strengths, and learning how to create tools to more than just survive, but to thrive and to help others by example. For now, help others by example, to help others to figure out how to do this. So I spent the morning on social media, and I've been absorbing other people's perspectives on things, right? The thing is about me too. The thing is about being an INFJ and being this INFJ, because I don't know what it is like to be other INFJs. I don't know what it's like to be one type, me. So the thing is about me is that I am in all the worlds, I see things from a wider perspective. So I do not just see the big, bad, scary side. I don't just see the big, so when I'm listening to people, with the warnings and the fears, and I'm hearing people's fears, I'm hearing the knowledge that they have, the understanding they have of history, the understanding they have of what's going on, but they understand it from a academic perspective and a education perspective, And then I listen to people who understand things from a spiritual perspective, but I never it always seems as though they're on their sides. They are in their lanes, as people would say, stay in your lane. And one of the things that I had always never liked to hear, not the one phrase that I never liked is stay in your lane, because I always wondered what lane? I don't have one. I don't have a lane. Like I literally am in the world all by myself, right? And I have no lane. I can see it all. I can see a lot of it, and I can see all the different parts and pieces, but I don't have a lane. There's no lane for me. So I have to learn how to manage. I have to learn how to manage seeing all these different things and not allowing myself to drown in other people's fears or to get absorbed into other people's fears, which I kind of realize that I have learned how to master that for the most part. If I'm feeling my best, if I am in my best frame of mind, like I'm rested and I feel good and I'm in a good place, I can handle it a lot better than if I am like maybe tired and down. And if I'm in a low vibrational space, then it's harder, but I handle it really well when I'm in a high vibrational space. So one of the things I've realized is that I can watch people cry in front of me now, and I'm okay because I have protected my empathy. I have locked away my empathy for a while until the world finds harmony and balance again. My empathy is well protected because I understand that what is happening right now is that people are able to get information from everywhere. So all over the place. We scrolling, and we are seeing all kinds of things. We're seeing images. We're seeing people who say they're suffering, and we see people who are suffering, and we hear the bad news, and we hear the horrible things. And thank you for liking this live, Mom. You're liking this live like crazy. You're a one woman supporter, boy. Woo! Thank you, Mom. We see all kind of things, and it triggers our empathy. It triggers our emotions. We feel fearful. We feel scared. We feel sad. We're confused because we can't understand how people could be so evil. How could there be so much evil in the world? We don't understand how could there be so many stupid people in the world. We don't understand so many things. So we're confused. We feel a lot of low vibration feelings, right? And understandably so. So I've had to learn how to protect my empathy because I'm not going to be saying, I cannot keep myself in a constant state of confusion and fear and worry and sadness and I can't keep myself in that state on a permanent basis. And there's no way, if you are going to feel empathy for everything, then you're going to be in that constant state all the time. And I can't be in that constant state all the time. So I had to choose, and I chose to protect my empathy. And in choosing to protect my empathy, it means I see these things and I'm like, I feel nothing. I feel nothing. That's the truth. I would feel it if it was right in front of me, But if it's on a screen, I'm going to have to, I accept that there's nothing that I can do about it. So why should I be in a constant state of sadness all the time? There's nothing I can do. Like if there's something I could do, I would do the something. So I will always say to people, like, if you could do something, like if you could honestly do something, whatever you feel called to do, if you feel called to donate to certain things or to support certain things or to help in our volunteer services or to call or whatever you feel like you need to do. But for me, what I feel that I need to do in this time is to make sure that I am at my peak health in terms of like I said, the fur off his sweater got my nose bothering me. So, to make sure that I'm my best self, because if I'm not, I will not survive, because I'm not that type. I cannot function in a state of low vibe feeling. So if I'm gonna get sucked into those state in that state, I don't handle it well. And I will not be okay. So I have to work extra. I have to be extra to keep myself up there. And if I keep myself up there, then that is when I'm able to be the biggest help in this struggle against the darkness. Because I'm the opposite of the darkness, right? And I have to keep my light bright. That's the opposite of darkness. So I have to be very intentional about it. I can't live in this world the way some people can. People could function in stress and they can normalize it and function. I never could, and I still can't. That's why, if you're wondering why I keep doing this, it's because of the sweater, the fur off the sweater. That is why, for the last 10 years, where this whole shit was happening, I experienced my awakening, my awakening to the world and how it works. At the same time, a certain somebody rose to power. So I've been like paying attention since that person rose to political power, right? And I've gone through all the different stages, and I've witnessed a lot. I feel like I've witnessed a lot more than a lot of people that paying attention now have been witnessing, because they probably just started to wake up. I woke up like 10 years ago. So I was like an activist. I was politically engaged, politically active. And now I have moved to a different stage, because this is no longer my awakening. This is the awakening of other people. And I have moved to a season where I am moving on, like I said I would. Like I thought all of us was going to do together. I'm going ahead and do it, because I believed in and supported the campaign that said we're not going back, that said forward. And I that is the campaign. That is what I had believed in, that we were moving forward. And my mom, welcome to all, my mom says. Welcome to all. So that's what I believe, that we were all moving forward together. And it was an eye opener to me. Like I had like a lot of faith that there's no way that this was gonna happen, because how could this possibly happen? I mean, like, if this happened, this could be the end of the world. Like that's how serious it was. And it does feel like the end of the world. But now I have come to believe that even if it's not the end of the world, it's the end of an old world, and not just the world altogether. It's not the end of the world, it's the end of an old world. And we need to prepare ourselves. We need to prepare ourselves as though we need to start creating the new world that we want to live in. Be the change that we want to see in the world. Be the change that we want to see in the world. And I just believe that, like, unless we can actually, like, unless you are in the actual arena in that particular fight, right? I believe that the greatest thing that we could focus our attention on is creating a new world. The more people, like, literally step away from that old world, like step out of that old world, right? Stop watching it every minute, and start creating a new one, the sooner that old world starts to shrink and become so small that we don't even see it anymore, right? Yeah, but the more people feed it their attention, the more it continues to live. So people got to start stepping away and start thinking, okay, let's act as though we don't even live in that world anymore. Right? Believe that you don't live in that world anymore. Believing that you live in a new world, the new earth, according to some people. They call it the new earth. You don't have to call it the new earth. You can call it whatever you want. But believe that you don't live in that world anymore. And if you lived in a new earth, a new world, right? Oh, this damn fur. What would you create? What would you build? Right? And then just start creating that. Just start creating that a little bit at a time. When I started 2025 feeling as though it was the end of the world. Wondering, because one of the things I always thought is that if a certain somebody won, it would be the end of the world. That's what I thought. And I wouldn't survive the apocalypse. I actually literally wrote a poem entitled "I Won't Survive the Apocalypse," right? I didn't want to live in that world. I didn't want to live in an apocalyptic world. A sick, dark, colorless, depressed, shelterless, cold, destroyed world like that you would see in the movies, in these apocalyptic movies. I didn't want to live in that world. And I didn't think I would survive it. And I wrote poems saying I won't survive it. I wrote a poem called "I Won't Survive the Apocalypse." And so when I started the year, I was like, oh, fuck. Am I really in the apocalypse? Is this the end? Is this the beginning of the end? And I started to panic and I started to get scared. And like, how am I, like, literally the one thing that I said I wouldn't survive is what is the timeline that my life has put me in? Is the timeline that God or, the higher power has put me in? I literally said I wouldn't survive it. What are you doing? Right? And that's how I started at the beginning of the year, feeling that way, like feeling scared and feeling like it really felt like the Bible stories come to life. Those Bible movies that we've watched, that I watched as a kid, those end-of-world movies where the Antichrist showed up, or rose to power. I felt like this guy has to be it. That Antichrist, that person that I saw in those movies, right? And I remember thinking as a child, like, this is the one thing that I didn't want to experience, is I didn't want to experience living in that world where the Antichrist rose to power, and I was in that world. And I was told that I wouldn't live in that world because, I'm a Christian, and I will be like, I won't be here. Right? And so that's what it felt like at the beginning of the year. And even though I still feel like it, I don't fear it anymore. I don't fear it anymore because I started to realize that all these people that taught us, that created these movies and taught us, the word, and taught us about, biblical stuff, those are the people that basically they're creating the story that we're in now. They have so much power that their story is louder than my story. So I had to realize that even though their story is louder than my story, I need to stop paying attention to their story and start paying attention to my own story. So yesterday was the first snow of December where I am. And I went outside and I recorded this really awesome video that I lost because I made a mistake. I lost the video and I recorded it with TikTok. I lost the video. So it will never make its debut into the world because it's completely gone. It's lost. But that was a good freaking video. And it was, talking about, in relation to just taking in the experience, the human experience that I'm living, like living my own human experience. And by the way, Mom, I got like 532 532 hearts. And if that's all you, thank you. You are so awesome. Thank you. Your finger must be sore. Thank you. If anybody else, that always happens with good video. Thank you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That always does, And it was a really good one, and it will never be seen by anybody. I couldn't save it. It's gone. It was so good. I recorded it out in the snow, and it was about really like experiencing, like being in your own human experience. Like the only human experience that we actually experience is ours. And I said in that video that we're observing other people's human experience, but we are experiencing ours. So you gotta recognize the difference between observing other people's human experience and being aware of other stories, but experiencing our own. Like my story is not their story. My story is that I'm currently right now sitting. I'm in my room that I call my serenity room, and I love this room very much. This room is a reflection of me, and I always wanted a space like that. I always wanted, I had the name for this room before I got it. I had the name for this room years before I got it. So I always wanted a space like that where it was exactly, this is not perfectly it, but this is close enough. This is, I'm sitting in front of the window and I can look at the woods right in front of me. While I'm talking to you, I can see the woods, right? And right now it's so beautiful because of the blanket of white snow. And it's gorgeous. And behind me, in the back of me, around me, is things that make me me. It's my personality, my present me, taking shape, right? In the pictures I got up, and the little all the little different things that made this room my room. I got sunflower curtains right there. And things that reflect me. And this is my experience. This is my human experience. I am not experiencing all the awful things that I am witnessing or being made aware of. I'm not experiencing those. So now I got to choose, should I be here in this room feeling the blessings that I am experiencing, or should I be there in that image, in this box that I'm looking at, not like and observe their fears and their feelings and what they're experiencing. So I gotta choose one, and I choose me. I choose my moment. I choose my experience. And honestly, I don't have the answers. There's no answer. So one of the things I realized that we've been doing is that we've been looking for other people to answer. That's why we scroll so much. That's why we've been scrolling so much on the internet, because we are looking for other people to give us answers, to tell us what to do, to tell us how to feel, to tell us how we should feel and what we should do. And I think that the thing is that we have to come to the point where we get the answers from here. Because the thing is, we are connected. This is what I believe, that we are connected to each other from here. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be this inner knowing, and all of us are going to do what we need to do at the same time. We have to be in alignment. The only way to be in alignment is to connect from here, because you can connect to each other from here. The reason that they can manipulate people and defeat people, and they have been able to get away with what they've been able to get away with for so long, is that they go by the physical world. So that's where they teach the people to be connected more in the physical world, right? And not into that intuition and that alignment and that knowing, right? So now they're able to lie to us. Like they're able, like, okay, say for instance, right? Somebody tell you that people eating cats and dogs, right? And you're not connected to here. You're not connected to your intuition, your gut feeling, that spiritual knowing, right? You're only connected to here, right? So you say, okay, well, that person must know what they're talking about, right? Because, he's a billionaire, or he's really, really smart because he told me he's smart, You get what I'm saying? But your intuition, you're not listening to that. Your intuition tells you, that don't sound right. That sounds a little weird. But you listening to a certain somebody because of whatever reason you choose to. Whatever reason you physically choose to, right? You because you've been watching that person on TV since you were a kid, or I've been a fan of this guy since I was from growing up, and because an image has been put across to you, and you receive the image. You receive the marketing, the image, the stories that they tell, instead of that inner knowing that tells you that even though this person is packaged in the right way and he says the words in the right way, although I don't get that, but he says the words in the right way and whatever, for whatever reason, like tradition, and because I've been a fan since I was a kid, or whatever stupid reason, right? You thought he was a billionaire. Hi to anybody who's joining, but yeah, for whatever reason, and you believe that because you're not tapped into your intuition, you're not tapped into your inner knowing. So that's why we got to tap in. We got to tap into our inner knowing, our intuition, our understanding that tells us, well, that's a lie. There's something off about that. Something's not right about that. Instead of all the bullshit packaging, the physical packaging that you're receiving that information in. You see, the thing is in order for us to survive, humanity, to evolve and survive and move into the technological era that we're about to move in, because what they're trying to do now is use the technology. They controlled us in different ways and manipulated us in different ways, and now they're trying to use the technology to manipulate and control us. Before maybe it was religion, but now it's tech, right? Maybe religion is no longer the master, but technology is, right? So until people start to really tap into that, like, inner knowing, that intuition, which we're gonna need now more than ever, because this is a whole different ball game now, because information can spread so fast, and so any kind of information, good information, bad information, it all can spread, right? And really quickly. You could be easily manipulated. Then you can't function as the human that you used to be. You have to evolve. You have to evolve to survive. Just like, how the animals are evolving to survive the climate change, how the climate has evolved, the planet has evolved. Religion did it for 1,000 years. Yep, 100%. And I'm realizing that along with everybody else, along with a lot of other people, But that religion did it for thousands of years. And no, it's just evolved. It's the same puppet masters, but they shifted. It's no longer religion that's going to be the controller. It's going to be the tech. It's going to be the algorithm. It's going to be the digital devices, right? So why am I here? I am here as a spiritual being, sowing light code. So I'm learning how to conquer the digital space as a spiritual being, as a connected being, right? Not as a follower or a scroller, or is it scroller? Yeah, not as a consumer, but as a creator, but as someone who is going to infuse my own codes into this digital space. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing in 2025, and that's what I'm continuing to do. So I'm practicing. I'm learning how to do it. Right? I'm learning. I also just put out a video on my TikTok about the just a little dance video, the algorithm, and I said, I had a song from Malcolm in the Middle. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so big. So the algorithm ain't the boss of me. The algorithm is not going to rewire my brain. You know, I shape the algorithm. The algorithm is not going to shape me. But it's a battle, because I kind of have to work with the algorithm in order to grow. So I have to find the balance between working with the algorithm to grow, but not in such a way that the algorithm shifts the way how I do things and shift my mission, whatever my mission is, you know, whatever my purpose is, which I will learn as I continue on. I will learn what my purpose is. So, you know, that's a shift. And people have to wake up, which I realize that people are waking up. I think a lot of these people that are waking up is people that are connected to TikTok. I think that if you are connected to Facebook and Instagram and anything to do with Meta, you are probably not in a safe space. If that's your only space, you're not in a safe space. If you're on like things like Blue Sky and Twitter, I think that the best places to be, the best 3 places to be on social media, and I'm in those 3 places, is YouTube, TikTok number 1 first, TikTok first, YouTube, and Substack. Those are the safest places to be. Like, if you are in anything to do with Meta, you are in that dome, you are in that information bubble that they've created and they control, you know. And I have no idea what is the situation with TikTok. I don't own it, because it doesn't feel as though they have taken control. It doesn't feel that way to me. It feels sort of the same, maybe not exactly the same, but sort of the same, you know. My TikTok algorithm sends me the people who align with me. So I am not in any information bubble. I know this. And when I say align with me, I don't mean that like an information bubble alignment. I mean in the terms of receiving the information that I need to know and hearing from the right people. Right? So I don't only hear what I want to hear, which is impossible for an INFJ, because this whole life was supposed to be about the INFJ mind and how we love, and I completely went off of that. I don't know. That's why that's a part of the INFJ package, is that like you have an idea in your head, but your mouth and your being just takes you on a different path. And it's always like that. So that's why I say I don't make plans. I don't make plans in any aspect of my life, because I have to go with the flow to be my authentic self, and to align with my greatest path. I have to go with the flow, right? So another thing that I was planning on doing is doing 2 lives a day, you know, during the week. Not necessarily Christmas week. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I was thinking, it's a thought, not a plan, a thought. You know, obviously a consistency with me at the moment, because it's impossible to be consistent at the moment. There's just too much things that I need to do, and too much people that rely on me for me to be consistent, right? I don't live in this world by myself, you know. So I'm a mother and a wife, and now everybody in my family is home, and I call myself a homemanaging, homeschooling mom. I say homemanaging because I'm not like the homemaker, domestic type. I am a part of the partnership in managing the harmony and the health and harmony of my household. Wow, I love how I said that. Anyway, so consistency is not always possible for me. But the goal, the idea, is to do a 10 and 2. 10 and 2. So 10-10, because I like the number. 10-10 is an angel number. And 222. This is true. 222. You know, because again, that's a fun angel number. So I'm going to do that. Like at 10, 10, and 222. So I'm going to do another live at 222. And maybe I might get into the conversation I've meant to get in this first time. for this life that I was trying to get into. But you know, did I finish my point? What was the last thing that I was saying? So yeah, I believe that, you know, we can't like to survive, you gotta evolve. And here's the things that I think that we need as to do to evolve. Here's what I've been doing, right? And I believe that the universe has been working alongside me. The higher power, God, universe, spirit, source, have been working alongside me to become the best version of myself. So you gotta connect to nature. The more you do it, the people will come. Thanks, Mom. You gotta connect to nature, one, and that is one way in which the universe, the higher power, has put me into alignment, because I live at a house where nature is right outside my door. So that's one. Connect to nature. If nature is not right outside your door, then go find it. And don't make excuses, because it's important. It's more important than you think. It's medicine. It's the best medicine that you could have. So go to the park, go hang out, like spend time with the birds, spend time among the trees, hug the tree. I've never hugged a tree. I saw my mom hug a tree, but I've never hugged a tree. Hug the tree if you want to. Touch grass with your with your feet, like ground yourself, like touch the ground with your bare feet. Connect with nature, because it's the best medicine. Then exercise and be healthy. Exercise, eat well, sleep well, like all the basics. Drink your water, take care of yourself. So learn. Instead of using this internet for doom scrolling and all the bad things that are happening, like use this internet to learn something. Learn how to take care of yourself. Talk to your plant. Use this internet to learn how to take care of your body, like in the best ways, and just start small and add a little piece, like change a little thing one at a time, because that's going to make a heck of a difference. And when you feel your best self, then you're more focused and you make better choices, and you're not easily manipulated. No, they're going to do all kind of things to make you panic, right? We're going to worry for each other. We're going to worry for our neighbors. We're going to worry for ourselves. We're going to worry for our kids. We're going to be in a constant state of worry, because they're going to do all kind of things that are going to make us panic. Thank you. Thank you for my rose. They're going to do all kind of things to make us panic, right? But we gotta not like focus on that, right? Because we gotta understand that, okay, there's nothing we can do there. The whole intent, like there's no win in this situation. To be honest, there's no win, because if you react the normal way that anybody will react to any of these things, that is what they want. I literally watched a few videos this morning about people saying the same thing. They want you to fight. They want you to be angry. They want you to rebel. They want you to fight back. They want you to do the obvious things that you would normally do in situations like these. You got to do the only way we're going to win is to completely throw them off. And the only way to completely throw them off is, this is why those people that was wearing them inflatable costumes, those inflatable things the naked protests, and the naked bike ride protests, and the ice skating, and the music, and you gotta lean into the joy and the silliness and the fun. Like literally, that is your rebellion. That is actually the actual thing that would succeed. Putting on the tactical gear and fighting back in that way, that's just gonna create a war, but that's not going to create a win. That's just gonna create a war, which is what they want, because that is what they've been doing for years, right? Creating all these manufactured wars. So it's gonna create a war, but not a win, right? So the people that have been being the silliest at these protests and the most joyful, those are the people who got it right. The people who, like, literally, we're in an age of imagery, right? And they want image to manipulate. They want image is to scare people. So if you dress exactly like how they would expect you to, if you look as angry as they expect you to look, those are the images they're going to manipulate and scare people with. So instead of doing that, be your kindest, most loving, most joyful, most happiest, most creative, artistic self. Like, literally lean into the colors, lean into creativity, lean into community, right? Lean into all the things that they can't even understand because they don't speak that language. They don't speak the language of love. They don't speak the language of light. They don't speak the language of joy. They get confused. It throws them off. And it's very difficult to manipulate that. Right? So that is what we got to lean into. And that's why that is why I'm leaning into it. And my audience is small as it has been for, well, it's bigger than it used to be, but it's small. So all I could do is just be an example. All I could do is be an example. Fighting with love and light and creativity and being your best self is the best way that you could fight back and win. We win with love this time. Because what they're trying to do is do the same old, manufacture war, manufacture division, manufacture darkness, bring back the dark times, the dark ages, all that kind of stuff. That's what they're trying to do. And they have been failing miserably because a lot more people some comments are like, were filtered to protect the community's experience. Okay. What was I going to say? Right. Oh gosh, that little TikTok note threw me off. They have not been succeeding. We are actually winning. It's just that the reason it's happening slower is because a lot more people need to wake up, and then it will happen faster, right? But they haven't been succeeding, and that's why they keep going darker and darker and darker, and pushing further and pushing further. They're trying to nudge you. They're basically trying to get you to fight back in the way that they want you to, in the way that they need you to, the people. That's why they keep doing it. And so I've just decided that I'm going to focus mostly on all the things that I just said, joy and all the things that I just said. I'm going to focus on that, the light. And I'm going to be an example because I can't convince nobody of nothing. You're going to have to find it on your own. You're going to have to find your way to what you need to understand on your own, because we can't convince nobody of nothing. The reason we can't convince anybody of nothing these days, and we got to live by example and not words, is because they hear words constantly all day long, especially if they're on the internet. All they're hearing is words. You hearing words and words and words and words and words. So we got to speak the language of energy, and energy is presence, energy is example, energy is you. People are going to understand the language of energy because we are overloaded by words. So that's why I do what I do, and that's why I've been doing what I've been doing on this in the social media streets. So right. So I'm gonna end this live in about 5 minutes, and I did so good. I'm so proud of myself. I'm gonna end this live in about 5 minutes. I spoke for an hour, and I'm very proud of what I said, and I hope that people heard me, and I'm really thankful for anybody that came through. Gosh, mommy, the hearts here is 1.6K, and a good chunk of that is, if not all of that. Oh my gosh, you've been tapping the whole time. That's incredible. I have a wonderful mother. I am very fortunate, because throughout this process, I wouldn't have been able to I wouldn't have been as encouraged to keep going if not for the fact that I have somebody that will support me in whatever way she can every single time, you know. And I really appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. This is the way people come true. Yeah. Yeah. I am so grateful. You know, I'm so grateful for your assistance. Now, I wanted to really lean into the INFJ experience, the INFJ mind, and the INFJ, the way the INFJ love. I literally had the words in my head, but different words came out. I'm going to do a live at 2:22, and hopefully, because my evening brain and my morning brain is two different things. So hopefully, you know, I'll be, you know, still capable, but I wanted to talk about that because, you know, it's a very intriguing thing. It's a very intriguing thing. Like the INFJ brain and the, you know, is different. And I know, like, again, when you hear people say it's different, it's just words. It don't mean nothing. But what we know and how we see the world and how we're experiencing the world, how I'm experiencing the world in a time such as this, very interesting thing. So, you know, I talked for an hour and I enjoyed it immensely. I want to do more of this. More of this, please. I am totally capable, as I can see. And I remember when I first started out doing these kind of things, when I did my first live on Instagram, and I was scared as hell, and I was talking to myself, and sometimes my mom only, you know. And I've come a long way. I've come a long way from, yes, you are. I've come a long way from that person, and I've had to really become. I've had to become who I was becoming the whole time, because I have no choice but to become that person now, because that person that I was becoming the whole time that I didn't know I was becoming, that person is needed. That person was born for a time such as this. So she got to step up. You know, I know. I did Facebook Lives. I was scared as well. Yeah, it's scary. You know, but not anymore. I'm not scared anymore. Because these are different times now, right? We gotta be warriors, right? We gotta be warriors now. The time for being scared is over. So, a lot of love and thank you. I want to talk some more, but you know, I just want to stick to my time. I can come back at 2:22, and hopefully maybe then I will have, you know, talk about the actual topic that I want to talk about this morning. But that talk was really good, and I'm looking forward to. Oh, I am on YouTube. My YouTube channel is capital I am Latisha INFJ. So the I capitalized, the am capitalized, the M is a lowercase. The L is capitalized, Latisha, INFJ. The INFJ is also capitalized. So I am Latisha, INFJ, on YouTube. I am Latisha, INFJ, and there on my YouTube is I will post this live that I just did. And you will also find like podcast light. I can call it podcast light. Casual conversation with me and my mom. I call it casual chat, and it's called Mom and Me. And we talk about all kinds of things. And the last one we did one in the kitchen with Sweet Annie, where we made a Bajan cassava pone, an old-fashioned Bajan cassava pone, and we had a conversation. Me and my mom had a conversation about that. You know, talking about the what is a cassava pone and the memories that associated with cassava pone. We had a really nice conversation, and I am so excited. I know that These people are going to be doing all kind of madness and craziness, and the world, the external world, going to get crazier and crazier and crazier and scarier. But I am so excited for 2026 for me, my family, and my mom. And I hope that you are also feeling excited about 2026 because, you know, as they try to destroy the old world, they're trying to destroy the old world, right? We gonna quietly be creating a new one. And then people are gonna choose what world they want to live in. If they want to live in the old rubble, or they want to come over here into our beautiful world, into the world that we've created. They could choose. You could stay over there with the rubble or come with us. Thank you for watching. You guys have a wonderful morning. And I see you later for anybody who will come through later. Thanks. Bye, Mom.